Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. We will make sure to respect your time. My name is Kaya Figlarska, and I'm a sales support specialist at Kirkhoff Technologies, which is a managed service provider. And joining me today is Isabel Schmidt, our VCIO and AVP projects. Isabel works with our clients to create a vision for information technology that meets the organization's objective. And then she works with our project team to implement that vision. At the end of our presentation, we will have a Q&A section, so feel free to leave any questions that you might have in the chat, and then we will cover them. And that's all from me. Enjoy the webinar.
Okay, so what we're going to be talking about today is the tools available to small business, small, medium business, to look beyond the traditional office and the complexity that entails. So before engaging in a new perimeter networking project or a new server replacement, a modern SME should be asking, why do I need a server? And why do I need that server protected by a perimeter network? I'll set the stage with talking about our experience in our own organization. So we went into COVID with about 18 staff members working out of an office that could seat about 25 people. We came out of COVID as a fully remote organization, over 40 staff members across the country. So going back to that office wasn't an option. For many of our staff, back to a BC office was out of the question as they were stretched across the entire country. We had to embrace a fully remote and distributed environment. We closed a rather expensive office, decommissioned our office networking and server infrastructure, and moved to something that was small and more resembles a co-work site. All our staff need is a stable internet connection to be effective in the work. This is a process that's available to all small medium enterprises today, and it's a real technology that's a real equalizer. Small medium enterprise have access now to tools that were once the realm of big business with large IT support teams. So we're going to start by delving into the productivity tools that the Microsoft Modern Workplace suite of applications offers, such as Teams and SharePoint, Power Tools, and more. And then we'll explain some of the security features that can help protect your organization's information, such as identity management protected by multi-factor authentication, security and compliance, and device management. So we're going to start with productivity. In this section, we're going to explore many tools that many people know, but in a different way than you're used to using them. One of the core functionalities of all online learning or all online collaboration platforms is the integration between all of the tools and apps and services that use them. So real-time collaboration on documents, not just like a sync or a, hey, I'm in that Word document, can you get out of it? It's real-time co-authoring and it's granular security and permissions that help store your data. So this is core functionality of all online collaboration platforms in a modern workplace. Where is this data stored? Well, in the Microsoft ecosystem, this data is stored in a cloud-based solution known as SharePoint, and by extension, OneDrive. So these are cloud-based storage solutions that offer remote teams the ability to securely store, share, and they all make collaboration easier. So they integrate directly with all of your other applications, such as Microsoft Teams or your Office applications, such as Word or Excel. These files don't necessarily need to reside on your computer or on a local server somewhere. Word is able to access these files and this data, for example, directly inside of SharePoint or OneDrive. Version control is available in these systems to allow people collaborating on a document to see the history and to roll back documents and things like that if they need to. Microsoft Teams is a versatile collaboration tool that many of you are probably familiar with just for doing presentations or maybe meetings. Maybe you've graduated to using it as a chat application, but Teams is a lot more versatile than that. It's capable of being a single pane of glass for many of your remote workers. Teams can be used for the virtual meetings, but it can also make phone calls. It can be used for chats. It can be used for file sharing and document management. Also a large collection of other applications that are built into it, such as bookings and planner. There's applications like OneNote, and you can use it to build out custom applications if there isn't an out-of-the-box solution. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. Power Apps and Power Automate. These power tools are a powerful suite of automation tools that can help remote teams save time and increase efficiency. Power Apps can help streamline tasks such as data collection that can later skip the need for data entry down the road. So rather than a first-line worker perhaps walking around a shop floor with a clipboard, where that piece of paper then later goes back to some office worker who does data entry on it, a first-line worker can hold a mobile device in their hand and do data entry directly on a shop floor. These custom apps and solutions can be built out using the Power Tools with little to no, sometimes no code applications. These are products that are similar to SharePoint lists or Microsoft Forms. They allow for the automation of repetitive tasks, perhaps just simply updating an Excel spreadsheet or updating a list in SharePoint. So that's a lot of data that's located in the cloud that we've talked about. So how do we make sure it's secure? So in this section, we're going to explore the security features that help protect sensitive information that the company may have and that your users have access to. So at the core of it, it's all about securing identity. Who are you interacting with? How does Isabel know that when she's asking a question or interacting with Kaya on a document, that that's really Isabel and Kaya that they're interacting with? Well, we do that through identity management, and that identity management is protected by multi-factor authentication. So multi-factor authentication it adds an extra layer of security to user accounts to help prevent unauthorized access to that sensitive information. It enhances security by requiring something perhaps like a fingerprint or a facial recognition on a mobile device in order to grant access to the service that the user is trying to log into. This is one of the single most important things that an organization can implement in order to protect their data. How it works is a user signs in with their password, an authentication app or service, maybe as low as a text message, comes to a mobile or third-party device that person has in their possession, and that code is entered into the service that they're trying to access. How this protects an organization, I'll give you a little brief example. So perhaps Kaya receives an email that's got a Word document attached to it that is supposedly comes from Isabel, but it's actually a network attacker that's trying to phish somebody. So they open the application and it prompts them for their username and password. A user enters the username and password, not realizing that it's a phishing attempt, and now an attacker has those compromised credentials. If that attacker tries to use that set of credentials, the phone of the actual user will go off and say, hey, you're trying to log in to this application from Russia. Is this actually valid? And that user has the ability then to say, no, this isn't me. You need to lock down my account and change my password. And they can either do that through self-serve password reset if an organization's configured that, or contact their IT department. But most importantly, the attacker didn't get access to data. Microsoft Security and Compliance is a suite of tools that helps organizations meet compliance standards and protect sensitive information. They're used to manage data loss protection, e-discovery, and retention policies. So security and compliance, this includes adhering to regulations set out by federal, provincial privacy laws, for example, or industry standards such as payment card industry or PCI compliance. When these compliance standards are put in place, systems like data loss prevention works to prevent information that's been identified by policy as sensitive information from leaving an organization. So, for example, if a policy in security and compliance was put in place that says you're not allowed to email credit card information in order to comply with the PCI compliance, if, say, an end user tried to send out a Word document, but through the discovery process, that Word document had been identified to have contained a credit card, the system will not allow that Word document to be attached to an email because that's an insecure form of communication. Data loss prevention would prevent that breach of the PCI compliance. E-discovery refers to the process of identifying and collecting information that could be used in anything from a legal proceeding to just simply securing your information. These systems go through all of your online data and identify where your sensitive information might be. And one of the third tiers of security is managing devices with the organization's control. So in an on-premises network, there's a local Active Directory that controls that identity that we've talked about, but it also controls group policies and things like that. What are users allowed to do with their computer? Well, those systems still exist inside of the online platforms in a very similar way. So managing devices, device management through Intune allows organizations to manage and track remote devices such as laptops, tablets, and smartphones in a centralized manner, the same way that you did in an on-premises network. Controlling access to company data with device management, you can control where the information is used and apply security policies to that. So for example, you might issue a laptop that's under company control to an end user and put in a security policy that says that end user's home network is allowed to access our SharePoint data, but only from this managed device. So that end user would not be able to log into SharePoint or install Word or something like that in the company's name on their personal or family computer and access data in a location that they shouldn't. So this is an example of a security policy put in place called conditional access, which would allow an organization to say, yes, in these circumstances, you can access our data. In these circumstances, you cannot. So we've kind of covered a lot of different kinds of utilities and tools in the last 10, 15 minutes. That can be a lot for a small business to kind of take in and look at managing internally. So what Microsoft has done is they understand the complexity that this has, and they've put together a package for small, medium enterprise called Microsoft 365 Business Premium. And it's a package that includes all of the tools in a single product that gives you the ability to deploy these remote workplace tools all in one shot properly. So it includes your Microsoft Word and Excel that you always know as being your Office documents. It includes your Exchange email calendars inside of Outlook. It includes the Microsoft Teams and OneDrive SharePoint collaboration that we've talked about. It includes some other newer features that you might not be aware of, like Clipchamp or Microsoft Loop. Clipchamp being a new video system that Microsoft has put together, and Loop being a new brainstorming and collaboration tool that's online, similar to Microsoft OneNote. Intune is that device management that we talked about. Information protection includes the security policies that we've talked about. Defender for Endpoint is an antivirus system that makes sure that that computer is in a good state. Intune is able to see the state of the antivirus on a computer and identify whether or not that computer should be able to access information. And then all of this is secured by the Entra ID or Azure Active Directory ID, which is your identity management, so that people know who they're collaborating with, even in a remote workplace. And it wouldn't be a great topic in Microsoft these days if we didn't bring up AI. AI is, of course, revolutionizing the business world. Microsoft Copilot for Microsoft 365 is the GPT application but now built into your online platforms, built into your Office applications like Microsoft Word or Excel. It can drove SharePoint. You can ask it questions. It's like a GPT. Well, it is GPT, but specifically trained on your company's data. It's available for all of this or most of the small business SKUs, standard and the business premium that we've talked about, as well as some nonprofit and educational SKUs. So where does an organization really get started when it comes to the modern workplace? Well, it starts with talking to an expert. We can talk about your readiness to start breaking down your perimeter network, decommissioning expensive on-premises hardware, and developing new workflows that enhance productivity and collaboration. It's not just about changing your technologies, it's about changing your business, your processes, training your staff, and developing new ways of doing things that are more efficient and effective. Reach out, book an initial consultation with us. I'm happy to meet with you, understand where your organization is at, and explain where you can get to. Don't just take our word for it. Our customers love us. In general, yes, they do. Not in general, they do. So this is an organization, Ruth and Naomi's Mission, that we've worked with for quite a long time. And we've just actually recently did an interview with them that's up on our YouTube and our website, where we talk about how the experience of collaboration has helped them. They are a decentralized organization with no servers on premises. They've deployed the Intera ID with Intune management, etc. So this is an organization that has multiple offices across our municipality that's able to take advantage of this Microsoft Modern Workplace to help our community. So that wraps up the core of the presentation. Do we have any questions?
No, we don't really have any questions, but I have a question for you because we were asked about it a few times. Is there a recommended multi-factor authentication app for the Microsoft 365?
Yes, there is. The Microsoft Authenticator itself is a higher level of security than just a standard multi-factor tool. So you're probably used to using maybe something like what's known as an OAuth authenticator, like a Google Authenticator. Maybe you're used to getting a text message for multi-factor authentication. The Microsoft Authenticator, when it's used in Microsoft 365 tools, it adds a layer of protection by presenting a number on screen of the service you're trying to log into that the user that's approving the authentication request needs to enter. So you really do have to have that device in front of the person who's asking for access. So it adds an extra layer of protection that's definitely prevents some of the spoofing attacks and things that cyber criminals use to try and defeat multi-factor authentication. So it's definitely recommended to use the Microsoft Authenticator for these systems.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your answer. We don't really have any other questions, so I think we can move ahead. Oh, actually, somebody is typing.
Oh.
So we can give it a few seconds and see.
We'll give it a second for sure.
It seems like somebody stopped typing. And so I guess you can move ahead. And if we get the question, we can just send you an email with an answer later.
Absolutely. Don't hesitate to reach out. So our next webinar is going to be on the state of cybersecurity for the small medium business. So every single year, our partner in security, Sophos Security, they do a worldwide survey where they talk to business leaders, IT leaders, users, and their analysts compile a report basically summarizing the state of the industry in any given year. The report for 2024 came out a couple of months ago, and we've had a chance to delve into it, and we're going to talk to you about some of the trends that the security professionals are seeing in the industry, things that an organization like a small business might need to be on the lookout for. And so we're going to take you through some key highlights of that report next month. If you have any questions about any of the IT services that we offer or the solutions that we talked about today, don't hesitate to reach out. You can give us a phone call, you can send us an email, you can book a discovery call directly on our website where we can take you through that initial consultation and identify where we can help you. You can also follow us on LinkedIn for our company newsletter and announcements where we post about things like this webinar. And don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I would love to connect with you on LinkedIn, say hi, and do some work together. Have a great afternoon, everybody, and we will see you next month. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your afternoon. Bye-bye.